Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and the esteemed class of 2025, it's you guys. Professor Vargo, will you please lead the class of 2025 to the stage, front and center? Thank you. Folks, your class of 2025. Fellas, you look good too, so you know. There you go, guys. Thank you, class of 2025. It is my honor to stand before you today as we gather to celebrate a momentous occasion. The White Coat Ceremony for the Seton Hall University Physician Assistant Program's class of 2025. This ceremony marks a significant milestone in the journey of these talented individuals as they transition from the preclinical phase of their studies to the clinical practice of medicine. To the class of 2025, I offer my heartfelt congratulations. This is a combination of your hard work, dedication, and unwavering commitment to the field of healthcare. Today, as you don your white lab coats, let them serve as a symbol of the trust and responsibility bestowed upon you as future healthcare providers. Embrace this privilege with humility, recognizing the immense impact you will have on the lives of your patients. I would like to also express my gratitude to the faculty, to the staff, and the administration, who have played an instrumental role in shaping the education and experiences of our aspiring physician assistants. Your guidance, your knowledge, and passion have helped mold these individuals into the skilled and compassionate professionals they are today. Now I invite Sister Susan Yocum, Sister of Charity and Provost of Seton Hall University, to lead us in the opening prayer.
Good evening. I'd like to offer my personal welcome and congratulations and that of President Mary Finger. Let us pray. Good and gracious God, we ask your blessing on these young women and men who seek to transform the world in the vocation of healing and compassionate service as physician assistants. We pray that they don the white coat and recite the Hippocratic Oath, which includes the challenge to treat the ill to the best of your ability, to preserve the privacy of each patient that you encounter, and to teach the secrets of medicine to the next generation, that each will remember that they care for others, God cares for them, sees them, and holds each one tenderly in the palm of his hand. May each express their gratitude to their families and faculty who have guided them to this hallmark in their journey. Amen.
Thank you, Sister Susan. Let us take a moment to reflect on the significance of this ceremony and the profound impact we can make through our work. As we embark on this joyous occasion, let us also welcome our esteemed director of the Physician Assistant Program, Dr. James France. Dr. France, can you join me? Dr. France has been the program director since 2010. He was born and raised in New Kensington, Pennsylvania, attended medical school at the University of Pittsburgh, and completed his residency at Shadyside Hospital in Pittsburgh. He has worked clinically for the past 34 years, 33 of those years in emergency medicine, and now continues to serve patients in a multitude of settings. Dr. France's wealth of experience, dedication to healthcare, and commitment to serve have made him an exceptional leader in our program. We are privileged to have him guide and inspire our students as they embark on their professional journeys. Please join me in giving a warm round of applause to Dr. France as we express our appreciation for his invaluable contributions. Thank you, sir.
Good evening, everybody, and thanks such for the kind introductions. There's really 2 days that go on in this program that they're the best, I think. This is one of them, and graduation is the other. And it's a time when the noise of the world gets turned down, and we just get a chance to just kind of focus on these folks for their accomplishments and to give honor to them. So because of that, I will be very short because this is not about anybody other than the folks behind me here tonight. But I would like to say a thank you to those folks sitting over here right now. Without them, none of this is possible. They make my life a whole lot easier. And I just want to say a couple thank yous and some introductions there. Sister Susan Yakum, who you just met, the provost there. Dr. Zagan, who is our dean, is also with us here this evening time. Dr. Stem, who's our medical director, who you will be hearing from here very shortly there. Our faculty, including Richard Hutchinson and Nicole Ludwig, Allison Turgeon, Bethany Vargo, Jason Thomas, Samantha Miller, Bobby Leeper, Kim Graziano. Without them, again, we couldn't do this. They put their heart and soul into this program, and very much a thank you for there. 3 other folks that are also not here this evening time that are integral to us, Tawny Valana, who is our person who goes out and helps us find our sites and procure and maintain our clinical sites as well. And then personally for me, our 2 AAs in the office who keep me in line most of the time. And then it's Michaeline Resler and Pam Senja. To them, a special thank you as well. So at this time, I'm just going to turn this now over to Jason Thomas. Dr. Thomas is going to introduce our speaker.
Thank you very much, Dr. France. Good evening, everyone. Physician mentorship and alliances have facilitated tremendous opportunities for physician assistants in recent years. As demographic, environmental, financial, and organizational challenges mount on the horizon for our healthcare system, most of us have turned to trusted physicians to partner with, resulting in optimal team practice concept wherein PAs, physicians, other healthcare professionals work together to provide quality care without burdensome administrative constraints. In my own career, I've been fortunate to be surrounded by many physicians who advocate for our profession, both in the clinic and the classroom. Physicians who respect and value what PAs bring to workplaces and patients. Our program is uniquely physician-led by Dr. France and our medical director, Dr. Ted Stem. Dr. Stem has been the medical director of Seton Hill's PA program since its inception nearly a quarter of a century ago. Dr. Stem is a native of Monessen, and his career and impact have been significant. He graduated from Wake Forest School of Medicine, went on to train in internal medicine and nephrology at Mercy Hospital and the University of Pittsburgh, respectively. Dr. Stem then operated a private practice in nephrology right here in Southwest Pennsylvania for over 3 decades and continues to serve as the primary instructor for the nephrology curriculum here at Seton Hill, which is just an hour or so, I think, the nephrology curriculum, about. He currently serves as an assistant professor of medicine at the Wake Forest University School of Medicine, where he teaches medical students and precepts internal medicine residents and nephrology fellows at the Wake Forest Baptist Medical Center. We are thankful that he could be here today with us, even though the weather is cold and you probably miss that North Carolina weather. We're glad that he's here today to honor the physician assistant class of 2025 who will soon receive their white coats. To speak on the significance of what it means to wear the white coat, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our distinguished speaker, Dr. Ted Stem.
So welcome everybody. Welcome class of 2025. Although they know me quite well, having spent 15 hours in a nephrology lecture, they're probably sick of hearing me speak. But tonight we will not talk about nephrology. So, and welcome to all the family and friends, the faculty, administration, and everyone that is here this evening for this very, very special occasion. Because this is indeed the transition into clinical medicine for these students, which is a very important step. And the thing that goes along that, which is so special, is that this transition is attached to the Hippocratic Oath, which is a very sacred oath which most trainees have taken. It came into being around the time right after World War II and has been with us ever since in the medical field. And then later on, we developed these white coat ceremonies, but it was imperative that we attached the Hippocratic Oath in its various forms to this ceremony because it is indeed the heart and soul of medicine. And so what I thought I'd do tonight is give you some patient scenarios that I've experienced and then a couple others from a colleague of mine, which I think kind of exemplify the feelings and the importance of what the Hippocratic Oath is in medicine. So one of the physicians at Wake Forest University is a gentleman named Dr. Weinberg, who is a gastroenterologist. And Dr. Weinberg often writes in the Annals of Internal Medicine some of the things that he experienced in his training and his years in medicine. And he's about the same age as I am, so we've been there for a long number of years in medicine. And he has some great stories to tell. And just a couple of weeks ago, he gave a grand rounds where he told a few more of these stories. And a couple of them, which I thought are very applicable to this evening, he told his story about a nurse that was named Mrs. Lincoln. And when he was an intern at the University of Chicago and he started his internship, his first day on service, he was on 3 West, of which Mrs. Lincoln was the head nurse. Now, Mrs. Lincoln grew up in a poor area of Chicago. She did her training to be an LPN at the University of Chicago School of Medicine and their hospital there. And then she went on, and because of her diligence and dedication and hard work, she worked her way up to be the head nurse on 3 West, and she had been there for a number of years and was very good and very conscientious about what she did. So the first day he was on service, they were busy, they were running around like crazy, and one of the patients happened to pass away. Well, he didn't have time to eat, so the patient who passed away, their tray was sitting outside their room, and so he grabbed the tray and was going to just grab something to eat as he went to see the next patient. She immediately ran up to him and said, "Whoa, what do you think you're doing?" She said, "This guy is barely dead and you're stealing his meal away from him." She said, "Next time, if you want something to eat, just let me know and I'll order it up for you." So he goes on call that first night, and the next morning, because he was up a good bit of the night, he almost doesn't wake up in time. And so he has to scramble to get to rounds. And so he has his scrubs on and he just runs, doesn't comb his hair, barely brushes his teeth, comes running into rounds, and of course, she makes rounds with the interns and residents when they go around to help them out, and she looks at him and says, "This is not appropriate," she said. "You know, your patients deserve more respect than that. You go back to your room, you comb your hair, and you get dressed appropriately for rounds." So he did that, and then he learned over time how to interact with Mrs. Lincoln, who was just a very diligent nurse. They became great friends over time, and actually she would help him out. He would do things the right way, and she thought he was actually a really good resident as time went on. When he was in his 3rd year of residency, a code was called on 3 West, and he thought, oh, Mrs. Lincoln will be there, she'll take care of everything. Well, it turned out the code and the cardiac arrest was Mrs. Lincoln. And he found that out as a lot of residents, because everybody like Mrs. Lincoln was running to 3 West. So he ran up there. They were able to resuscitate her, took her to the coronary care unit. And as she was in the coronary care unit over those days, a lot of the residents would stop in and speak with her because they had such great respect for her. And she told them, you know, things are changing. Medicine isn't the way it used to be, and maybe this is God's way of telling me that it's time to get out. Well, he was able to convince her to stay on. And when she saw him at graduation of the residency program, she said, you know, Dr. Weinberg, you are going to be a wonderful physician. So, you know, as part of this, I think it's very important to take home, as far as the Hippocratic Oath, is that, you know, you have to be cognizant of all the people that work with you. People such as Mrs. Lincoln, they are very important in the medical care of your patients. The second story that he told, which is kind of important, is he used to proctor the fellows in their training of gastroenterology. And there was this one fellow who was a very brilliant fellow, very good at what he did, but he always was one of these kind of pessimistic guys. And he always thought if the glass was half empty, it wasn't half full. And if you told him, well, you know, the glass is really half full, he'd wonder if it was going to spill or something bad happened to it. So this one day in clinic, he comes in, the fellow looks at his schedule, oh my gosh, you know, got this patient, I know who they are, they've got this problem, it never works out, this patient's a constant complainer. So he's going through the day like he always does, that, you know, he's very pessimistic about everything. And Dr. Weinberg is proctoring him. The last patient, he gets ready to see, and he says, Dr. Weinberg, this is terrible. He said, this last patient, he's a Syrian refugee gentleman who he comes in to see me almost every month. He has 100 complaints. I try to help things and make things better for him. Nothing ever seems to work. He's in there with his family. There's like 4 family members, the last patient of the day. This is going to be awful. And Dr. Weinberg says, well, maybe not. Go in and see what's going on, you know. So he goes in there, and you have the interpreter, and they speak to the gentleman, the Syrian refugee, and he's telling the doctor why he's there today. And what he said was, he said that Dr. Jacobs, the resident's, the fellow's name was Aaron Jacobs. He says, Dr. Jacobs, I would like to tell you, I came from Syria, and in Syria, the soldiers came, they shot my son, they violated my daughter, we had to get out of there, we came to the United States. And when we came to the United States, he said, it's very hard here because I haven't learned English yet. I'm trying, but I haven't mastered that at all. A lot of people kind of look down upon me. He said, but when I come here, you always spend time with me. You always talk to me to find out what is going on. And no matter how many times I come back, you're always here, and you're always here to listen, he said. I came here with my family to say thank you. And all the family members nodded, thank you very much. And he said, we want to tell you, well, I don't have any specific complaint today. I want to tell you 1,000 blessings for all you've done for me. So that day, Dr. Jacobs learned that that's part of what's going on. And Dr. Weinberg told him, See, Aaron, he said, you know, sometimes it's not giving a prescription. He said, sometimes you are the medication. So spending time with your patients is very, very, very key. And I think that's a part of that oath. It's the individual time and caring that you spend with each patient. I know that in my own experience that I've had some occasions. I remember a young fellow, he was actually in his 30s, but he had Down syndrome, and he was cared for by his mother. I began to see him when he had chronic kidney disease. Eventually, he had to go on dialysis, which was very difficult, but I spent a lot of time with him, and he felt comfortable with doing it, and his mother would actually do the peritoneal dialysis for him at home, and he would come in monthly for his visits to the dialysis unit. Coming to those visits, he enjoyed just coming to the visits and talking with me, and his mother felt it was very, soothing to her to get all her questions answered. But it was also good for me, because I always enjoyed when he come to the unit, and it would brighten my day, and if things weren't going well, that was kind of something special. He eventually did pass away from, like most dialysis patients, from heart disease. But during those years that I had the chance to take care of him, he had a nice relationship, and I think he and his mom felt very comfortable, and I had a great relationship that it made my days brighter. I also have the chance to take care of tuberous sclerosis patients, and these are patients that get growths on their kidneys, but they also have a lot of developmental abnormalities in most of them. So a lot of them have mental disabilities and have to be cared for by their parents. So a good number of them I have are patients that are in their 20s and 30s and 40s, and their parents are in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. And these are extremely dedicated parents. But their visits kind of always, it's good for me when I see them. I have a brightness in my day, and their parents are just so thankful. It's not that I do anything special medically, but just being able to talk to them and answer any of the questions that they have. So it isn't necessarily the prescriptions you write or the medication IV or everything that you give a patient. It's actually how you interact with those patients, which I think is so special. That's what the Hippocratic Oath is all about. It's about individual patient relationships and touching patients' lives and touching patients' families. And so I would like to just end, since we did have St. Patrick's Day yesterday, with an Irish blessing. May God grant you always a sunbeam to warm you, a moonbeam to charm you, a sheltering angel so nothing can harm you, laughter to cheer you, faithful friends to be near you, and whenever you pray, heaven to hear you. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Now we're going to start the important process of donning the white coats. And I will say, so as I read each name, and Professors Vargo and Miller will don the white coats, parents or friends, if you'd like to move or come up to get a good photo opportunity, please feel free to do so. So you're not locked into your seat. Mariela Alvarado. Savannah Bankosh. Alexis Bonach. Ethan Kane. Corey Cavalier. Alicia Ciliberti. Jillian Davis. Shannon Forsman. David Franco. Victoria Greenawalt. Sarah Harvey. Emma Helmstetter. Rachel Hornock. Carly Humanic. Gabrielle Levkulik. Josephine Marr. Jenna Marmo. Julia Milkoff. Emily Mongaluzzo. Rachel Newell. Jessica Nieto. Jackson Palmer. Keita Parmer. Lauren Patrician. Leah Policarpio. Jenna Rocker. Nikila Reddy. Kennedy Reed. Ashley Rhodes. Caitlin Roselle. Jordan Rumbaugh. McKenna Rummel. Margaret Sarvey. Griffin Schwan. Sydney Shemansky. Sophia Signor. Kylie Sin. Grace Mackos. Anna Straight. Max Thomas. Lindsay Turner. Caitlin Wagner. Elizabeth Ward. Allison Way. Anna Wegman. Mara Yonner.
Yeah, Mara?
Okay. Congratulations to the class of 2025. Now we'll have Dr. Ludwig come up to the podium for the reading of the Hippocratic Oath.
Class of 2025, would you please stand? Please repeat after me. I do solemnly vow to that which I value and hold most dear. That I will honor the profession of medicine, be just and generous to its members, and help sustain them in their service to humanity. That I will honor the profession of medicine, be just and generous to its members, and help sustain them in their service to humanity. That just as I have learned from those who preceded me, so will I instruct those who follow me in the science and the art of medicine. That I will recognize the limits of my knowledge and pursue lifelong learning to better care for the sick and to prevent illness. That I will recognize the limits of my knowledge and pursue lifelong learning to better care for the sick and to prevent illness. That I will seek the counsel of others when they are more expert so as to fulfill my obligation to those who are entrusted to my care. That I will seek the counsel of others when they are more expert so as to fulfill my obligation to those who are entrusted to my care. That I will not withdraw from my patients in their time of need. That I will not withdraw from my patients in their time of need. That I will lead my life and practice my art with integrity and honor, using my power wisely. That I will lead my life and practice my art with integrity and honor, using my power wisely. That whatsoever I shall see or hear of the lives of my patients that is not fitting to be spoken, I will keep in confidence. That whatsoever I shall see or hear of the lives of my patients that is not fitting to be spoken, I will keep in confidence. That into whatever house I shall enter, it shall be for the good of the sick. That into whatever house I shall enter, it shall be for the good of the sick. That I will maintain this sacred trust, holding myself far aloof from wrong, from corrupting, from the tempting of others to vice. That I will maintain this sacred trust, holding myself far aloof from wrong, from corrupting, from the tempting of others to vice. That above all else I will serve the highest interests of my patients through the practice of my science and my art. That above all else I will serve the highest interests of my patients through the practice of my science and my art. That I will be an advocate for patients in need and strive for justice in the care of the sick. That I will be an advocate for patients in need and strive for justice in the care of the sick. I now turn to my calling, promising to preserve its finest traditions with the reward of a long experience in the joy of healing. I now turn to my calling, promising to preserve its finest traditions with the reward of a long experience in the joy of healing. I make this vow freely and upon my honor. I make this vow freely and upon my honor. Congratulations, class of 25.
Well, thank you guys and congratulations. You know you're not getting out of here with at least one story from me is there. And it will tie in, so bear with me. And I'm addressing these guys a little bit more, so forgive me for being turned a little bit there. So in days long ago, when anybody entered into a covenant there, particularly marriage, they used to slaughter an ox or a ram or a sheep, and they would separate them. So leave it a place that you could walk between them. And the idea was in the wedding ceremonies that the parents of the groom, the parents of the bride would go through, then the groom, and then the bride would go through. The idea behind that being is the animals being slaughtered and walking through that, as you could imagine, mess, was to show the significance of that covenant that they were making in marriage or wherever that covenant bond would be. One time that I am aware of, until just a little while ago, then that didn't happen, was in the covenant between God and Abraham. And in that covenant, God walked through. He made his covenant with Abraham, but Abraham did not. God knew that Abraham was not able to fulfill what covenant portion it would be, and then his punishment for that would have been death, like that of the animals. I said that one time there until now, and that's a Hippocratic oath. If you look at that, it's I shall, I will, I do this. There's not a single thing about your patience in that. And the idea and the thought of why I tell that little story is that this is a one-way covenant for you guys. You are entering into the best profession you could ever do, at least in my humble opinion with that as well. But your patients, you're going to like some, you're not going to like some are going to treat you well, some will not there, but you don't have any expectations on them. It's just to take care of them to the best of your ability, regardless of what they do with you or for you or to you. Just remember that, okay? One last thought there, and I saw this the other day as a quote. It said, "The world will be a better place when old guys like me plant trees knowing that they'll never sit in the shade that tree produces." So just think about that. Thank you. Congratulations to you all. Don't leave without signing the Hippocratic poster. To you guys, thank you for coming. You have done well at raising these folks. Thank you for entrusting them to us for 27 months. Please enjoy, and thank you very much. Appreciate it. Good night.